Hey you guys, what's going on? How are we feeling today? How are we feeling? Do we eat yet? Are we having a good meal? Is our day going good or bad? I pray that, after you watch this video, your day gets much better. But if you are having a bad day, I'm sending nothing but light and positivity your way. And if you're having a positive day, I'm still sending nothing but light and positivity to your day. Okay? So, before we get too deep into the video, because you already see from the title, today we will be talking about just growing apart from your friends. I just want to, of course, say our affirmations, and today's affirmation will be, I am worthy of success and happiness. Okay, so let's say that again. I am worthy of success and happiness. Excuse Benzo. You want to be in the video? Get a dog, they say. Stop saying that. That's like telling somebody they're gonna have a kid. I wish I would have known that. Even though I don't regret having my dog. Don't get me wrong. I love Benzo. It is okay to grow apart from people. And don't feel guilty about it. Please, okay? Save me the guilt. Because I feel like sometimes people feel bad for actually going other places than where they were before. And it's not your fault that people don't want to grow with you. Right? Because when you're growing, people have the choice to grow and hop on that bandwagon right along with you. But people choose to be where they are, right? And if they're choosing to be where they are right now, 9 times out of 10, if you leave them where they are right now, 5 years from now, they're going to still be right exactly where you left them. So it is what it is. Life is a long-term game. I like to look at life like chess. If you move certain pieces, you get certain results. Take some opponents down. If you're a pawn, you can change your chess piece. When you get out of the matrix. You understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe you haven't played chess because you don't understand what I'm saying. But I said that to say that personal growth is perfectly natural, right? We should all be striving for personal growth. Right? Like, you don't even have to have the biggest and most craziest goals in the world, as long as you're always striving to be better than you were yesterday. I even like to say, right, if you're 1% better every single day, that is 365% every single year, right? Like, every day you don't have to try to reach for the moon and the stars. Just take one more step every single day, right? And so I say that to say that, being that, life is just a lifelong process, obviously. And so I say that to say that as you are going through life, your interests, your values, your hobbies, your goals, like they're really not going to stay the same. If anyone is expecting you to be the same person every single year that you were before, they need to get checked immediately. Okay, because it's honestly impossible. As humans, we are designed. Let me not say it's impossible. You have some people who literally are super stagnant. But if you are just a regular, average human being who, you just want to go places and you just want to do things differently, you just view things differently, which I think the average person, everyone views everything in some way, shape, or form, just uniquely from the next person. You're not always going to be the same. You're not always going to act the same, talk the same, even walk the same. You're not going to view things the same. Your mindset is not always going to be the same. And that is perfectly fine. Don't ever allow anyone to make you feel as if though you constantly changing, something's wrong with that. Like, even me, you guys, for me to even get to this point where I'm at now, you know how many times my goals changed, my habits changed, the things that I wanted to do in life changed. But I always had one goal. The one goal was to be a multi-millionaire. That's always the one goal, right? But how would I get there? And, just how I view things in the world and my trajectory on things. And yes, I've shifted 1,001 times. I always tell people, you're never going to catch me in the same place that you saw me the last time. You're just not, because I'm always working towards growth, no matter what that is, right? And so I say that to say that, when you are going through growth, when you are growing constantly, it's like shedding. And shedding is like shedding old skin. And some old skin that you're going to shed are some friends. And, That is okay. You're going to grow apart from people. And that's perfectly fine. Like, don't feel guilty, or don't allow anyone to like sabotage you into believing that like you going apart from someone is like the worst thing in the world, because it's really not. It's really not. There are a lot of people that are in your life even today, right now, as I'm making this video, that are just there for a season. You might think that they might be there for a lifetime, but they're just there for a season, right? And in that season, when you have someone in your life, you know, you have the opportunity to take the good from them, leave the bad, learn your lessons, and have a great experience, you know, whether it's a friend, a family, or a significant other. You know, just enjoy each other's time while you can. And then when it's time to move on, simply move on. You know, and move on with grace, move on with positivity, move on still praying for them and wishing them the best, you know. You know, but it's you're not always meant to be in a person's life every single day, to call them, to text them, to hang out with them, to be with them, to even think like them, to work with them. Like, that's not, baby, seasons come and go, and you have to allow them to come and go. When you try to stay stagnant to even still have certain people around you, or to make certain people feel comfortable, is you allowing yourself to be stuck in a certain season. What if that season is spring and it's raining all freaking season? You're going to stay in the rain so you can dance in the rain with somebody else? You're going to stay in the rain? We ain't doing that. Okay? So it's perfectly fine to like move on from people when time comes, because you simply just grow apart. No hate. It's nothing personal, you know. It's all about you, babe. Plain and simple. Your life, this is your life. This is about you. No one else. Okay? And if you're spiritual, you and God. But other than that, it's not about anyone else. And so never make it your duty to make your life about anyone else. Even if you're a person who loves helping people, love being there for people, you can still be there for people and help people. But other people, new people, when it's time to move on, you can move on to help other people to bigger things and better things. Like the people that you've had in your life for that season, like you've helped them and you've been there for them as much as you can. And it's time to move forward. Because at the end of the day, this is your life and it is about you. 1,001%. And like I said, if you're spiritual, you and God. Nothing less and nothing more. Even in addition to like when you're shifting with life and you're just changing your goals and your mindset and this and that, just consistently on a consistent basis, you know, your priorities change, your schedule may change, your responsibilities may change, and that alone will probably cause you to naturally just grow apart from people, you know. And like I said, like, don't feel guilty or feel bad because you just simply can't be there for people the way that you used to. Tell them, get somebody else to do it. Like, and not being mean, not being rude, not being disrespectful, but there are other people out there. You don't have to depend on, just rely on me. Get somebody else to do it. Like, you need someone to call you to maybe you're always helping someone move or helping someone get from A to Z, or if I'm busy, find someone else. You know, even as a person, like, you should not, of course it's great to have people around you that you can rely on, but it's very selfish for you to just have one person in your life that you can rely on. Have multiple people that you can rely on, because people have lives. People have responsibilities. People have schedules. People have things that they want to tend to. And like I said, this is your life. In addition to this is your life, this is also their life. You understand? Like, everyone is in their own world, you know? And so for you to actually just have one person that you can rely on is like pretty selfish. Either have multiple or have none, right? Either have multiple people that you can rely on or have none, because having one is just crazy. Having one is just crazy, because what if they're not there? What if something happens? What if? Then what? Or just have yourself, like, also have yourself to rely on, right? Like, if you need to get something done, if you, like, whatever it is, like, don't ever sit there and allow someone to be so helpless and be so reliant on you that you feel like you have to stick around for them, even when you don't want to, even when you don't feel called to, right? Like, I like to even think a lot of times for my spiritual people, right? You know, I think a lot of times people have a hard time letting people go because they know how much they rely on them. And I tell people sometimes, especially the ones that are spiritual, and I say, hey, when you allow yourself to continuously be there for someone, even when it's dragging you down because you know that they rely on you so much, and it's crazy, but some people really feel like, you know, certain people can't get through life without them. You don't trust God. That's just how I see it. You don't trust him. Because if your schedule, if your life, if your commitments, if your mindset is changing for whatever reason that it may be, is you feeling called to do other things, right? That's really what that is all about, is you feeling called to reset. You're always resetting, right? It's you feeling called to just change things around, and some people are not going to fit into whatever that is, and maybe sometimes no one is going to fit into whatever that is, so no one can rely on you. And so you're telling me that you're playing God and you're still trying to be there for them, even though you have your own personal things going on in your life, and you don't feel like someone else or God is going to send someone else to be there for them. You that's what you're basically saying. Like you're playing God's role, and you're going, oh, I don't believe that there's going to be anyone else out there sent for them, or that even God is going to be there for them, so I'm going to do it myself. And that's kind of crazy, right? Like if you have faith that there's somebody there out there that has a higher, greater power, like more than you can ever imagine, and he's there for you, and he's changing things for you, and he's always made a way for you, you have to understand that he's also doing it for other people. And I'm laughing because people don't even think like that. Like you have to understand that if he's doing it for you, he's doing it for others as well. But you have to give him the room to do it. Sometimes you're standing in his way, just being stubborn because you're not getting it. And that's when relationships turn toxic and things make you feel sick, and you know, things just go to turmoil, because when you got the first sign to go and just, you know, let things grow apart, you know, with ease as is, you decided to stick around and stay because you felt someone needed you. And don't get me wrong, they probably do. But you have to step back and let people see that they're relying on something too much, and they need to let go as well. Like, it's not only for your benefit, but it's also for theirs. You have to understand that. And so, like I said, for my spiritual people, when you don't let people go and let them be and let God handle it, it's you saying, God, I don't trust you. I don't believe that what you do for me, you're going to do for them. I don't believe you're going to send somebody else. I think I'm the only person on this earth who can help them. That's what you're saying. You know, so you really have to be careful and understand what you are saying sometimes when you even make certain actions, because everything that you do makes a statement, and it has a cause and effect. So just really keep that in mind, okay? Even in cases, right, where, you know, maybe both of you guys' priorities and commitments are changing, and, you know, you just can't be there for each other as much as you used to, and you're literally feeling each other just going apart from each other. It's great to sit down and have that conversation, so that so that everyone just has an understanding that it's no hard feelings, right? Because sometimes you might be going apart from a person, especially with social media. It could be the dumbest thing posted, or the dumbest thing we shared, and people get in their own heads and go, oh, well, they're talking about me because, you know, we haven't been speaking lately, and, you know, they just make up 1,001 things, and they make the situation way bigger than what it has to be. And all it could have been is like a simple conversation, like, hey, you know, like, I know I couldn't be there for you this day, or maybe, you know, it could be for a birthday, or maybe a graduation, or this and that, and like, you know, like, I hope we didn't take it personal, but like understanding like where my priorities and my commitments are right now and stuff like that, and just really having that conversation, and really just having that simple understanding that, you know, maybe it is time for us to go apart, and like, you know, it's okay. You know, like, we don't, and necessarily, like, you don't have to be growing apart and never speak again, but you guys can just understand that you're not going to be there for each other the way that you used to all the time, right? Like, you can still talk and make time to talk, right? If you guys feel like the relationship is that important, and just make time, like, intentionally make time for each other. I know sometimes you can have a schedule where you don't have to necessarily intentionally make time for someone, because, you know, maybe you just had enough free time at the time. But when your time is really starting to tighten up, sometimes you have to intentionally make time for people to just to get them to understand that you really do care, and that, you know, of course, despite of growing apart, you still want some type of relationship with them in some way, shape, or form, right? Like I said, like, you don't necessarily even have to still be as close to a person, but still be acquainted, still be friends, still catch up here and there. Maybe once a month you catch up for lunch or something, or whatever the case may be. But having that understanding as just like friends, that, hey, like, I can't be here for you the way that I used to. I can't go to every event. I can't, you know, like, I'm not in that space or that mindset anymore. And just really having that mature, understanding conversation and say, hey, well, since this is what it is, let's do this instead. Let's make time for this. You know, let's do this once a month, once a week, or maybe have a phone call every twice a week for us to catch up and really, you know, see what's going on with each other, so that in some way, shape, or form we can still feel connected. Because you don't necessarily have to cut off every single person and allow it to just make you guys grow so further apart that you are no longer speaking to a person entirely. But if you really care for a person and you feel you guys drifting apart in a way, you can start to communicate, to make an effort, and just creating that time and space to enjoy each other, so that you guys still feel connected. And also remember that when you do grow apart from people, it gives you opportunity and space to just build new connections, meeting new people. And meeting new people is always fun, exciting. It can be a little scary, especially if you're someone like me who is so used to like, you know, having friends for years on end. Like, my longest friendship is a decade. I think my shortest friendship is like 4 years. So I take relationships very seriously, no matter what the dynamic is, which is why I only really hold on to long-term relationships, because I want all my relationships to be long-term. That's just me. But yeah, at the same time though, like, these are not people that, well, actually, like, my longest friendship was since I was a kid, but I guess you can't consider that family at that point. But, you know, even these friendships that I've named, right? Like, I didn't wake up when I got in my mom's womb and we knew each other. Like, no, these are friendships that were built. So it also gives you the opportunity to build new relationships, build new friendships that can support you in many different ways, shape, or form, and getting to know new people and building more long-term friendships, right? More people that can be supportive of you, and that, you know, you can also be supportive of them. More people who are going to inspire you and just open new doors for you, because your network is your network, babe. So it's always a great opportunity as well to just meet new people, put yourself out there, and build new relationships. Okay, I love you guys. I didn't want to make this video too long. I appreciate you guys for tuning into another video, and I hope to see you next time. Good night.